Mala, Yak Mala. Welcome back, my friends, to the cult film Showdown. I am your host, 8th Dan Stanadu, and I am super happy to be joined by my good friends, and my good friends are Nick Boxer.
Greetings and salutations. I am really glad this movie's over.
Aren't we all? I think that we have agreement of that. I mean, I think it's still playing somewhere, because
it'll live forever in my head.
The 400-hour-long runtime, but
it is the bars and tone of the background of the rest of my life.
Well, so anyways,
just every day at the end of the programming day, China Salesman starts playing like the national anthem.
Jim, let's do some business because I don't think we can top that. So
can we just skip scoring this time? It's the shortest we can do this episode.
Yeah. Well, it's the longest movie we've done, so it should be the shortest episode. That would be.
It's an inverse relationship right there.
Yes. All right, James Kabbah, you are in the house.
All right, and you should. I'm going to say you should subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app, and there'll be a new episode in about 3 days from whenever you're listening to this. Mondays and Thursdays. That's when new episodes go up. I want to get that out of the way because I can't count on anyone being here at the end of the episode.
Just in case you fall asleep.
I am pushing my comfort level of staying positive about films together.
And speaking of,
I try not to get down in the mud, and sometimes
it's going to be hard. But we have Mr. Positivity, whatever he is this week.
What do you mean, whatever I am? Remember how I was Chris Peacock there for a little while,
mm-hmm.
and
no.
And the Peacock Network sued me, and then so I changed it to still stayed with Paul McCock, and the problem was, remember all the crap we talked about the Peacock Network last episode? Well, apparently they got vindictive because of that. They got good lawyers. Even McCock I can't use. So I thought let's go fresh. I'm like, let's get some inspiration. You know who I was a big fan of there? You know who I love there? That was a great singer. I love me some Jim Nabors. Oh, Jim Nabors. Yeah, that was – what a beautiful voice. Everybody was a big fan of Jim
Nabors. I loved him as Ernest.
Oh, Jim Nabors was fantastic. Yeah, that's right. Gomer Pyle. Jim Nabors.
Is he Ernest?
No.
Honestly, I would have. If you had said yes, I would have believed you.
That was Jim Varney. No, this is Jim Nabors. So Nabors, that's a great last name. And then I was like, who else do I like? Guy Lafleur, the Flower. He's my all-time favorite hockey player. So that's right. This podcast now has some Guy Nabors.
So, anyways, when we get to the this podcast is let's just wrap it up. Okay. No,
I think it is obvious nobody wants to talk about the actual movie.
85 minutes of fame.
Yes, indeed. The theme this season,
or 342 minutes of fame.
The theme this season is 85 minutes of fame. So this is. Every movie we're doing this year is featuring a lead performer. I think they're all lead performers, or a featured performer, I should say, who is best known for something besides being in films. So this time out, we've got non-actor Mike Tyson opposite non-actor Steven Seagal.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Steven Seagal best known as a traitor to his country. Mike Tyson, best known for serving his time.
Oh my gosh, I really wonder who would win in an asshole battle between Ginger Baker and Steven Seagal. That'd be something.
I think that Ginger actually showed a couple of moments of where he actually seemed nice. So I think, whereas Steven Seagal, I just don't think has those whatsoever.
Yeah, but he was slapping a woman's ass while he was doing it.
Ginger Baker's the one in the Union Jack dress in the Spice Girls, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I can't believe
Yeah,
you don't know.
Broke up the band. Broke up the band.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
But here's the thing. As penance, Nick now has to describe this movie in detail.
Alrighty. Yin Zhang is our titular China salesman, and he's representing his company in a bidding war for cellular rights in Uganda. Unfortunately, this is complicated by Western interference and unsuccessful coup led by Mike Tyson himself.
Sort of.
Now,
In
Yin
3 sentences, you've massively changed my score for Crazy Concept.
Yin Yang is forced to be
based on a true story.
Find increasingly unlikely and improbable solutions to overcome this, to overcome the bidding war and save Uganda from Western cellular product. That's what happens, and this is a very, very long movie.
I'm sorry, I spaced out in the middle of it.
That's much like the movie itself. That explanation was
Steven
too
Seagal
long.
owns a bar where people occasionally drink pee.
Where you have to drink, otherwise you are offending them.
For what
there's
reason, we don't know.
So
yeah, nobody knows that.
it doesn't matter. Steven Seagal could be cut out of this and wouldn't matter one bit.
Yeah, well,
He doesn't do anything.
he doesn't do anything. They probably would have cut the budget in half. So
Well, my assumption is that of the $20 million or whatever, most of it went to Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson to be in it. So, who's got something to say besides this is a really long movie that I think it's okay. So it's a weird movie. I mean, it's a boring as hell movie is what it is, but it's a weird movie because of the fact that it's completely based on a true story. So that's fine and in and of itself. But then the fact that they jammed in Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal, and when I say jammed in Steven Seagal, I truly mean that they had to find a way to shoehorn him in that seems so completely out of nowhere that
I think that's the weird thing about the film for me overall is that it's an entirely different film than the movie that Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson are in.
Yes.
It's like they were making this completely different film that then Steven Seagal has no role in the main story. And Mike Tyson really only has a role in the main story in the very end of it, which is as long as it took me to figure out if they had just added the two of them to a completed film.
Right. Yes.
So I didn't know that because I'll admit right now, I tried on 4 occasions to watch this movie. 4. On the 4th attempt, I was like, oh God, I've watched it 4 times, or every time I would start up where I last left off when I couldn't take anymore. And I looked and I saw I'm 50 minutes in, which means I have an hour to go. And I tapped out. And for the first time in the history of this podcast, I didn't watch the full movie. I could not do it. This movie was making me angry. I was mad. This is so far from what this podcast is supposed to be and the type of movie we're looking for. It was an unfortunate fail. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got a little bit. I mean, you only had to make it 3 more minutes basically from where you left off to the actual end of the movie. Because it ends, and there's still 39 minutes left in this movie.
Oh man,
there's a lot of endings.
The whole third act of this movie, and I don't think the listeners will believe this. The entire third act of the movie is our hero Jian, who is trying to set up 3 cellular towers to make a freaking phone call.
That's the
really
third
what
act.
happens for a half hour. Yeah, that's the entire thing.
Don't forget about the fourth and the fifth and the sixth acts that this movie also features.
Now, Jack, I don't know if because you weren't able to do this successfully do the research of actually watching the film. So I'm not sure if you made it into any other research.
As far as the trivia, I dug around, and there's like nothing on the film. I think everybody involved with the film and everything else just wanted to forget about the existence of this thing.
I think people are talking about this film, but the Chinese government is censoring everything that is being said.
Not even if you've got
I've never seen such a Djangoistic type like film.
Oh, I have.
Towards the East before. I mean.
Oh, I have. You never saw Wolf Warrior, which is awesome.
No, I never actually saw that one.
Oh, it's awesome, but it's way worse as far as that's concerned. In that one, the Chinese are the heroes that need to rescue the Americans all the time.
Really? Did it have a character running towards people shooting at him with the only defense of the Chinese flag?
That was pretty
flying in front of him. Because this movie does have that.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Yeah.
What I love is the movie poster that features Mike Tyson right up front and then Steven Seagal in the background, and where it actually looks like a true action movie, and in what world, of course, does a true action movie feature somebody setting up cell towers for 30 plus minutes? Well, this one apparently.
I wish I could. Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal fight is also the trailer.
It is. That's the
awesome.
thing. It's the highlight of the movie, and it comes 6 minutes into 7.5 minutes or something like that, or 8 minutes,
and it's
something
not
like that.
A particularly good fight because it's an obvious stunt double for Seagal.
Oh yeah,
straight.
But
well, because everything is.
But it's also the only time I can ever remember in history Seagal not only losing a fight, but actually letting somebody hit him. I guess it took maybe arguably a top 15 heavyweight of all time for him to agree to look like he's not the toughest guy in the room. Though, again, meaning it was the stunt double who looked like he wasn't the toughest guy in the room.
On the plus side, I mean, this does give us the chance to talk about a fat Steven Seagal for a little while, and the fact that he's supposed to be the toughest guy in the room, but he is so fat and he doesn't move. That's the greatest thing about his martial arts is that it's completely reliant on him not moving except for swooshing his hands a little bit.
The Will Sasso. The Will Sasso Mad TV seems more on point every single day, doesn't it, with him? Where he imitates him, and Will Sasso's a big man. You guys don't know that? Oh, jeez. That's another. Why am I bothering making any references to anything else? You guys apparently only watch cult films.
There is a Hollywood legend that Steven Seagal routinely pitches shooting his fight scenes sitting down because it's all in his arms. And it's been refused by a lot of stunt choreographers. I think this film might be the one he finally got it in.
That's tremendous. That's one of the greatest things I've ever heard all my life.
I do love the Tyson fight in this. Carried me quite a lot. The Tyson gets in a barroom brawl, which is amazing, and then fights Steven Seagal. So those 2.5 to 3 minutes are just fantastic. And if you can find those on YouTube, then I recommend.
Just watch the trailer.
Yeah. It was funny that the user reviews on IMDb are pretty consistent. People, I need to frame this right. People mad that they were promised a Steven Seagal Mike Tyson film and didn't get it.
Understandable, yeah, because the moments that they're not there.
The best outcome of what they were of the task they were setting out to do was to see Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal together. That was the best way that could have turned out. And instead, they got this amazing story of setting up a cellular network. I love that they have this big argument about whether 5G is going to catch on.
That was funny.
4G is going to catch on. We all know that
They're
5G.
They keep on talking about 3G. Movies made in 2017, but obviously set place earlier. But they keep talking about how 3G is like the technology, and that was crazy.
Yeah, I also can't find I think we could probably go to scoring.
Oh yeah,
I think
for sure.
I've got left to show.
I just want to mention the acting. I think Mike Tyson actually is the best actor in this film.
Oh my!
And I believe he might have learned his lines phonetically, despite being the only character who speaks in English throughout this entire film.
Here's the thing about this. Is I mean most of the actors were literally like people they found on the street, like people like and that they gave lines to.
The blonde girl, she was in Smurfs too.
Yeah, the one who's she's French, playing the French character. Yeah. What a weird relationship between those two, by the way, when you say love interest. What a weird one. But yeah, no,
that's a common love interest type thing they do in Chinese movies because Chinese are weird.
You said it, not me.
Censored in China. All right.
What a weirdly specific thing to say, Nick, that none of us agreed with.
Sorry, Chinese movies are weird, not Chinese people.
Thank you for clearing that up.
It's okay. If you've got a Hugh Way, you're not here in this episode anyway. All right. In our search for the ultimate B movie, we rate each film in 5 categories, none of which are objective quality. The first category is called Schlock Upheal, and we do start with Stan.
Well, after watching this movie, after fully watching this movie, I realized that the only score that I could possibly give it was a 10. For the first 6 minutes. And then, unfortunately, for the last, 14 hours of the movie, I have to give it a -9. So I'm going to go with a 1.
It's too bad I typed 10 into the octagon, and I'm not allowed to change it once I've been
Yeah. Schlock Appeal. You know what? I'm going to give it a great score considering the rest of this film of a 6. Just because it has the big, giant, hairy balls to put Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal on the freaking poster in the trailer and not let anyone know what this film actually is before they sit down. It tricked me when I picked it. I would not have picked it if I knew what the rest of this film was. If I knew this film was about making a cell phone call, I would have not gone near it.
There are ways to actually to know that. What you do is some research.
I wanted to watch a Mike Tyson, Steven Seagal film.
Well, and apparently if you watch the trailer, then that's what you got.
That's what you got, yeah.
Yeah. So
the bones are there.
Well,
yeah.
The
What
bones
did you
of a
give
dead
it again?
Carcass.
A 6.
Stan gave it a 10, and Nick gave it a 6.
No, that's a 0-1.
And you're judging my scoring last time. Oh my! It's a movie that has absolutely no schlock. It's a big budget, slick production, no schlock at all, except for 1 2-minute fight that happens in the first 10 minutes. That is incredibly awesome. So I'll give it a 2 for that fight. The rest of the movie is just so bad. So yeah. 2.
All right, so that's a 10 from Jack. I might have. I wasn't paying attention. I'm just assuming. I think that every scene with Mike Tyson is awesome. The amount of scenes with Mike Tyson standing beside one prop in front of a blue screen is awesome.
He took Lindsay Lohan lessons for this.
That's right.
I love the fact that he tried for the first 2 minutes to do a what do you call it,
An
accent. Yeah, and then just was like, screw it.
Yeah.
Like I'm done.
It's like he practiced the one line with an accent. Um, the African King with Mike Tyson's. I don't even know what kind of accent Mike Tyson has, honestly. It's just Mike Tyson. I'm still going to go all the way up to a 4. All right. More heart than budget, and I threw this budget into exchange rate because it's 110 million Chinese yuan, won. So 16 million US is the current exchange on that.
It says the budget's 20 on Wikipedia. Which of course, how much of that money actually would have to go to Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson for doing for actually the funny thing is that bringing them into it brought us to this movie. So I mean that's really the problem. Like,
fair enough.
It did its job. You know?
Yeah.
Like, because you can't tell me that anybody else would watch this movie if they weren't in it.
If you pitched me a movie about a Chinese hero setting up cell phone towers, I probably wouldn't have watched it.
So yeah, I mean, successful.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Now, I mean, is anybody good in the movie? Well, the answer is no. So I mean, everything else from there completely falls apart. So I think it's a 0.
Yeah, I would love to say this movie had 1 ounce of heart. Oh, wait. I'm sponsored by the Chinese government now. 10. No, 0. Nothing.
They've hacked the episode.
Yeah.
The Chinese have now hacked the Octagon. 10s across the board. New champion. It's,
and the movie that cannot be beat.
The really funny thing for me is almost always movies that are based on a true story are because they want to show like real life, interesting, uplifting, interesting stories of overcoming and these type of things, and yet this movie doesn't do that. I got a 1. We are on our way, gentlemen, despite the 10 that came up earlier. We are on our way with this film. I mean, wow.
I will. I think someone was really happy to get Mike Tyson into this film. So 1 for me. I do think that also giving a feature. I think the director enjoyed giving a feature role to Steven Seagal.
Out of curiosity, Nick, you're probably the person who would know this. Would this have been after Ip Man 2? It would have been, wouldn't it? After Mike Tyson was in Ip Man 2, and kind of probably
yes.
Yeah, then
I believe
at that
this
point he
is the
established
newest
himself
film that Mike Tyson has been in. So,
I gotta say for all the. I mean, definitely going to be mixed feelings about Mike Tyson as a person. But as far as career reinventions, I gotta give that guy. The Hangover, definitely. The start of that.
His management team is awesome.
Yeah. His PR team. Anyone who, we don't have a number for how crazy a concept Mike Tyson's Mysteries is.
I know.
And he's great. That's the thing about it. Like I love Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson's Mysteries. And then I saw him in this and I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
You're reminded that he doesn't write any of that. And it's,
yes, for sure.
All right. What the fuck moments?
Well, I mean, I knew that there was going to be something the second that this movie started, and they misspelled golden in the opening company logos when it was a Glodden God, and I was just like, really? I don't think that your company is actually named Glodden God. But and from there it was really all downhill. I mean, there's no question that Steven Seagal versus Mike Tyson is crazy what the fuck. And the fight itself is what the fuck, because Tan Bing is perhaps the worst action director that I've ever seen in my life. because those punches and the reactions are off by seconds, not just milliseconds. They're off by whole seconds of like he's swinging at the air, and then Steven Seagal will like shift about 2 seconds afterwards, and it's just like, oh wow, this is really well done. But like there's so much bad stuff like that in the way that it's made. And then the rest of the story is for largely no WTF, other than the fact that they jammed Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal into this hella boring story about trying to build a cell phone network. And so I really don't know what to do with it. I think it'll be my highest score out of 4.
Well, no, I think there's some WTFs here. I mean, we've already mentioned that fight scene, which is not great. I mean, they could have tried to get a heavier man to double Seagal in it. That would have been nice, not to have a slender Steven Seagal switching between the real Steven Seagal and, yeah.
Much like Evil Knievel with his much skinnier.
Yeah. You know that was Seagal. Yeah, you know that was Seagal saying it. Like, that guy's my
son. The UN flag with a Chinese flag to signal some sort of truce was just strange. And my favorite WTF in this film is once the movie finally has its final ending in the movie, it takes 2 pages of the smallest text you've ever seen to actually wrap up what happened in this film. I mean, it tells his freaking life story. For no apparent reason. I don't know why our hero still leaves this film in handcuffs for some reason. I saw the entire movie. I kind of understood the entire movie. Once again, I did have to watch scenes of it multiple times just to sort of figure it out. But I still don't know why he was arrested at the end. Yeah. So score-wise, I'll say a 6.
Let me see. WTF moments entertained me, and nothing in this movie entertained me. I will give it not a 1 because I'm going to give it a little bit of something because I've never in my life seen a movie with so many people with such strong accents and so many wide variety of accents speaking English. So I mean, you can't follow the movie or understand anything because if they have somebody has a strong accent, you really need to pay attention and get used to that accent. And when you're constantly switching between a different accent that's really strong that you can't understand, you can't even follow the dialogue. To me, that's pretty. But again, it comes back to the fact that they literally just grabbed people from the street that were the best actors. So, which is crazy for the budget the movie had. 2.
I think it's funny that you said like the people from the street who were the best actors, and I believe there were better actors on that street. I don't know what street it was.
Did anyone actually figure out what nationality the bad guy was in this?
You mean Mike Tyson or the other bad guy?
The other bad guy. The beard.
Oh, the terrible, awful
cross between French and English accents that represented the West.
Yeah, he was just like the.
He was either would have been French or he would have been Belgium because that's what she was, either French or Belgium. I'm pretty sure it was France.
She was French. Yeah, she was French.
So yeah.
So yeah, he is just supposed to be the West. Like he's just, you know, he's kind of oily. He's kind of he's just like mustache twirlingly evil.
and nowhere near as fun as Jack Lemmon, plays mustache twirlingly evil.
Yeah, I agree with Nick. I had to go back to find out why he got arrested, and so he walks out with his new lady friend, who there was, I think, one scene of sexual tension between the two of them. And he walks out and he's immediately arrested. And that's the end of the movie. And I'm like, what a weird ending. I don't know why he's being arrested. So I went back to start trying to figure that out. And I almost missed that there was a text page after to explain why that scene doesn't matter.
Yes.
So he's arrested. I believe, and I do not think you can hold me to this, I believe he's arrested for illegally releasing the patent information on the 3G. The software code for the 3G, which is what he needed to make the phone call that this 110-minute movie revolves around. But then it fades off and says like he was released, so it's all okay. Under arrest for fabricating documents and illegally releasing the DH3G source code is what it tells you in the text at the end. But yes, I almost missed that, which like left that ending even weirder. I think the Mike Tyson's end in this of blowing himself up for some reason. I will say that the one way that China Salesman fits in with other movies we've done is that I spent much of the film going, why is anyone doing literally anything?
That is fair. For a movie purporting to actually have story, it is shockingly light on it.
really lacking in motivation. 4 for me as well.
I don't even know why he had to make the phone call.
Well, that I know why, because they had to get the north and the south sides to talk, so that to avoid civil war.
Yes, but they do say in the film when they establish that, why can't we just send a telegram? And I just didn't understand. I didn't get why that was important. Why physically talking? What doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Please, no, we don't want to belabor this.
Yeah. Memorable moments.
Let's see now. I will remember this as being the movie with Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson that they're in for almost 5 whole minutes, and I will remember this as being one of the blackest days of me having to watch movies. 2.
I will give it a 2 as well, just so I remember not to watch it again.
Oh yeah.
Although I think 2 minutes of this film might remind me.
Watch the trailer over and over, and then you'll be good.
Yeah. Oh man, this movie. When you're talking about, I will remember that this movie almost made me want to quit doing this show. That's the experience that I'll remember, not any actual things. I'll remember the experience of the movie and how bad it was. I won't remember anything individually, except for the fight, but that already covers really in schlock and everything. So I'll give it a 2. But I mean, when I'm sitting there, what I'll remember is sitting there and going, I'd rather watch Food Fight. I'd rather watch Food Fight than this. That's something.
This is the film that made me ask, is it time to reopen the books on Among the Shadows starring Lindsay Lohan? because I think that in hindsight, I wrote a little hard on that movie, considering.
Oh, I agree.
Yes, but in hindsight, I think that Jim Kabbah should have scored way higher, considering.
Yeah,
that's the movie. That's exactly it, though. But I remember watching Jim Kabbah, and that's the first movie we do, and we'd still do the shout out to it. And even though it didn't score as high as we want, I remember, James, you were always sitting there going, this movie is joyous. This movie is joyous. And during that episode. And that really stuck with me, because that's what it is, and that's what we want. We want movies that are joyous, despite being not good. They're joyous, and it's so great to watch them. And this movie, there's nothing joyous about this. That's exactly sums it up perfectly.
I'm with you. I'm only going to go with a 1 on this. I honestly didn't remember anything past that fight with Seagal and Tyson at the beginning. So, crazy concept is our final category.
I mean, it's based off a true story, so that in and of itself is not crazy. I think it's crazy to put Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson into this movie and try to foist it off as an action movie. But then again, I mean, if you want to sell this movie, then that's the best way to do it, and so obviously that's what they did. I can still only give it a 1.
I'll go as high as a 2. I think it's pretty crazy to try to stick Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal in an obvious Chinese propaganda film.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that description's better than 2, actually.
Yeah, that description is good. I'm still giving it a 1 because at the end of the day, it's based on a true story, and if you're basing something on a true story, it's difficult for it to be a crazy concept.
Oh, I just assume when I see based on a true story, somebody just put that at the beginning. I don't think there's any truth to it.
Well, then they still deserve to be punished for it.
I think if you start from, I want to do this film about the hero of Chinese 3G, the guy who brought 3G to the world. It's going to star Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson. And we're like, which one of them plays the hero of the story? Like, neither one. Which one plays his sidekick then? Also neither one. He's only going to have one scene with Mike Tyson in the entire film and none with Steven Seagal. So I think that's a weird enough concept. I'm gonna rock the whole octagon by giving it a 4.
Ooh.
No, this film is punished for being over 95 minutes, and
it should be punished twice.
Let's talk.
110 effing minutes.
110 minutes, which is by far the longest movie we've filmed or that we've done. I think it's by about 5 minutes, the longest one. There was talk about a second level of punishment.
Yeah,
but as it stands, that is enough to keep it as the new bottom of the octagon at 22 out of 100, 3.5 points back from Food Fight. Which
wow,
was
3.5 points.
Way under Food Fight.
And
I never thought we'd beat Food Fight.
And 10 full points back from Among the Shadows.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Among the Shadows much better in this.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you had to give me a which of the Sophie's choice of which would you rather watch, Among the Shadows or the China Salesman? It's just well, fuck, Among the Shadows. Give it to me any day.
Sophie's choice, but you have to. But you can't choose none.
That's the only reason it's Sophie's choice. Because none isn't an option. Oh God. Well,
at least now we can get to a positive.
Yeah, that's right. So
first, let's do some business.
Yes, yeah, do some business, and we'll tell the folks about the next movie, and then we'll.
All right, please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Also, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram to Cult Film Showdown, and we're sponsored by WeTalkPodcasts.com, the home of the Octagon, where this film has just entered at the bottom. And and also We Talk Podcasts has a Twitter and they have a Facebook.
But see, unlike a good career, this one can't start at the bottom and rise to the top. Okay. So anyways,
started from the bottom and now it's here. Still at the bottom.
Yeah, it's going to stay at the bottom, unless things go really bad, and I don't want things to go that bad.
I'll cheer up. We still have some molded justice coming, so.
Well, yes. Next episode we have Jesse Ventura in Abraxas, so that one.
No mullet there.
Nope. Just a good old growly Jesse Ventura. So that should be. It should be a far different, much better experience for us. And now,
Governor,
I do believe that we can move on to actually choosing our season concept for the next season of the Cult Film Showdown. Jimmerate!
So the concept here is we're all going to pitch a show, just in case you're a first-time listener, because you wanted to know so much about China Salesman, so it's likely to grab us a lot of new listeners. So the concept is we're all going to pitch what we would do for the next season and then pick it. And then at the final episode of this season, we'll each pick 2 movies. And when we say Jimmerate, it's because Jim randomly picks the number through his computer, through number 1 to 4, to guess who gets to go first.
That's right. In a profound misuse of the internet and the technology available to us, I'm choosing a number from 1 to 4. Really, when we were kids, though, it took an entire computer the size of a room to choose a number between 1 and 4. Now I only need a desktop and a high and a router and a 3G. Thank God I have 3G. Stan, we're starting with you.
All right. Well, I mean, one of the things that I really feel like is that we need to get back to the core of what we love a lot more. And so for me, I call this concept sibilance, because who doesn't love Sybil Danning? And so I was thinking we do an entire season that's kind of a spotlight on Sybil Danning and her assets.
I like that, her assets.
And she does have assets, many assets.
Oh yes, she does.
And plus, I think she's a better actor than both Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson.
Also true. Boobs are almost as big as Mike Tyson's. All right. Next up, we got Nick.
Alrighty. In an effort to get as far away from the China Salesman, cellular technology, and back to the original concept of B movies, I think we should do an entire black and white season.
Okay, black and white. Did you have a title for it?
Monochrome
Mayhem.
Madness.
That's it. I'm done. I don't know. I didn't actually come up with a name this time around. I just came up with the concept.
Okay.
A monochrome. How about that?
There you go.
Oh.
That's I like that one. Yeah. Just repeated consonant sounds. That's my expertise right there. Yeah. Oh, we seem to be doing this whole gimmeration in order. So it's Jack is up.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep up with that. I call this one copycats. I'm gonna keep up with the alliteration there. Copycats, because for every big Hollywood star, there's a cult film actor that's their equivalent. That's kind of a copycat of them. So I say we celebrate those gentlemen. Copycats.
Who does that leave next?
Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example of that? I don't think I got the concept.
What? Like an actor, like for every actor that's, like
for every actor there's an equal and opposite reactor.
So
yeah.
for Harrison Ford, there's a Barryson Ford. Is that?
Well,
anyway, it's okay. I mean, it's not gonna get chosen anyway because I've got my pitch now. Spotlight. Stan started with Spotlight. I've got a Spotlight. I call. Now we all love Phil Hartman. We all love Phil Hartman wasn't in a whole lot of B movies, so this is not a Spotlight on Phil Hartman. Though you could choose a Phil Hartman movie. The Spotlight season I am choosing is called Hi, I'm Troy McClure. Troy McClure, one of the characters Phil Hartman played, based on Doug McClure and Troy Donahue, classic B movie actors. So in the Hi, I'm Troy McClure season, you could choose any film by Doug McClure, Troy McClure, or Phil Hartman.
Okay then.
Okay. All right. Time for the votes. We go in order. If we go in the same order as we did this, is that how we do it?
No, we usually just jam it out there, but
yeah, sure.
Well, either way, I'm going with Sybil Danning to me because I like her assets.
Yeah, I think we have the most chance of nudity if we go with the Sybil Danning season,
and that's always a positive.
It's interesting. We all seem to be. Let's get back to basics. We need VHS era and lots of boobs. So let's make it 3 votes for Sybil Danning, and then Stan, whatever one you now vote for loses.
That's right. I'll then provide 1 vote for the rest because there's no point in
for the sake of getting along. Stan abstains.
Yeah, 33 1/3 for each and every one. Do I get to pick 33 1/3 revolutions per monkey for any of them?
All right, Sybil Danning it is. Spotlight on Sybil Danning. What did you call it?
I called it sibilance.
Sibilance. All right, Sybil Downing with 83 IMDb credits.
I think I caught that once.
And
Okay, there's a cream for that.
nice. We are dealing with which is probably closer to about 70 actual films because there's a lot of TV appearances and such. So maybe bring a couple extras when we're choosing our season.
Well, and we know we've seen a couple of them, so there's that.
Yeah, we've already had at least two. We have two so far. So we had Malibu Express, and we had
and then the space.
Malibu Express.
Yep.
Yeah, Malibu Express.
Yeah, she
Either
was
way,
the one
I
who didn't show her
remember-
boobs in that one.
I clearly remember from Malibu Express. That'll Be on the Stars was the other film that we've done so far.
It's just a matter of how many of us are going to pick the same movie because there's one or two that's like, oh yeah.
The key
All
thing
right.
is that
How many prison movies is on there? Just on that IMDb, how many prison movies is on that list?
Oh, I love
Schoolgirl movies.
Yeah, she's got a lot of her early credits are more like The Prostitute, Judge's Wife.
Well, I mean, I know that we'll be able to find some stuff with her. So, but hopefully we can all do a little bit of research and not wind up with the movie that she got paid.
Do some research. I do research before I pick every film on whether or not it's actually going to work.
All right. Well, I think
China Salesman, 110 effing minutes.
Yeah, hopefully none of the Sybils movies are 110 minutes for us, but
well, you know what? If they
unless
are, they're 110 minutes of her assets.
her assets, exactly. Yes. All right, let's pack it up and go home so that we can watch Abraxas. All right. So for Jim and for Jack, not Jack. and Nick, I am your host, 8th Dan Stanadu, and thanks for listening to the cult film Showdown.
I want to thank you all. However, only 2 companies have been selected. Whoever wins the bidding wins respect.
Once the communication collapses, the door of our success will be wide open.
The capital is in chaos. The Civil War is unavoidable.
You got a lot of nerve coming here. Our people are not extinct.